Hello, friends. It's Nikki, and welcome back to my messy bookshelf. Today I'm here with my weekly reading wrap up, and it was a very good week as far as reading is concerned. I finished three books, one of which was a surprise. Um, and I made significant progress in some other things and started something else. So, happy 4th of July to all of my American friends. We had our festivities here in our town yesterday, so recovering from that. And you may notice some residual 4th of July glitter. Um, come off. So, anyways, I'll stop rambling and get into books. So, the first one that I finished was Pamela by Samuel Richardson. And some of you may have already seen I posted a video specifically about this book because I had some strong feelings about it. I said my thoughts, but I should have probably said my feelings because, yeah, it was all feelings about this book. This was a book from my 50 Before 50 list. So, this is the fourth book that I have completed from my 50 Before 50 list. So, I am very pleased about that. It should come as no surprise, because I think I mentioned it last week, and if you watched my other video, that I did not love this book. I did not love it. This ended up being a hate read for me. It started off, I thought it was kind of funny how melodramatic and everything it was. And quickly, I just got so tired of the characters and our main character. Well, got tired of all the villains in the story, but then our main character was so perfect and had the personality of a wet mop, honestly. So I got tired. About the thousandth time she fell at someone's feet weeping, I was pretty done with it. But I wanted to know what happened, and it was from my 50 Before 50. And also, I realized the importance of this novel. It is one of the first examples of a modern novel in English. So, yes, important. I'm happy that I read it, and I'm even happier that it's over. So, Pamela, yes. I will be moving on to read Shamala probably next month. The next thing that I finished was finally Memoirs of a Geisha for Audio Mile. So that was an audio book and took me forever to get through it, even though I was loving it. I just have not been walking um, like I usually do. And that's for a whole number of reasons. So then I started just listening when I went to the gym. And, a 30-45 minute gym session is not nearly as much time as a long walk outside. So yeah, I'm hoping once the heat passes, I can start going outside because we do have another um, book for the month of July and August. We're giving ourselves 2 months because we've all been pretty busy with summer stuff. So the next book that we'll be reading for Audio Miles is, what was it? We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter. And that one's a thriller, so it should be fun to listen to and walk. But Memoirs of a Geisha, I mean, it was wonderful, and it tells the story of a girl named Sayuri, and she is basically from the time she is a small girl raised in what is it called, an okia, a geisha house, to learn the art of becoming a geisha. And I loved all the cultural context. I loved hearing Sayuri's story from her own words, and I believe that it was based on a real life person, um, if I remember correctly from the intro. So yeah, loved it, and I'm very happy that I finally finished that. And then the third one that I finished was a complete surprise. Hadn't anticipated picking this one up this week. I read Ride the Spiral by Ben Young. And this is a book that is described as a cosmic horror. And I see why it is called a cosmic horror because there is some sort of interdimensional type stuff going on. I would honestly say I felt like it was a psychological horror. And spoiler, no, not actually a spoiler, but I actually really enjoyed this much more than I expected to, because that's not my typical genre. So I thought the pacing was great. I was really invested in the characters, and I did not expect it to end the way that it did. So I would definitely recommend giving that one a try. Um, that one was an ebook, and probably the first ebook I've read in over a year. So he got me to dust off my Kindle, and it was very nice to have that to read in between some of these massive books that I am reading. And I did not expect to get through it so quickly. Um, so it tells the story of a man named Spencer Smith, and he has a small son. He's married. Him and his wife have a small son who is sort of neurodivergent, and they're trying to figure out what is going on with him because no one can help them. No one can figure out what exactly is going on with his son. And Spencer himself goes on a journey of sorts to try and figure out what is going on with his son. And it's heartbreaking to see, and horrifying, honestly, horrifying, especially when you get the point of view of the little boy and what's going on in his head. So, definitely found it to be very psychologically horrific. Um, for much of the book, I didn't think it was scary, so imagine my surprise later on in the book when I was shocked and horrified. So, yeah, it definitely lived up to the cosmic horror, but again, I found it psychologically horrific even more so. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this book uh, to anyone who, I mean, it wasn't so scary that I don't think that people who don't read horror can read it, but if you do like horror, I would recommend giving this one a try as well. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. And I will probably look into reading more of his books because he's got a few. So yeah, that was a complete surprise. And then what else did I do last week? I started Lonesome Dove, which is a buddy read with a subscriber, and we haven't quite figured out our pacing. I could have gone further, but we hadn't figured out how much we wanted to read each week, so I'm only 2 chapters in, but I could easily have kept on reading. I'm only 2 chapters in, so I can't say I'm definitely going to love this, but I wanted to keep reading after those first 2 chapters, so I have high hopes for this. I have high hopes. So we met some of our characters. I know there's supposed to be a really large cast of characters in here, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. And then my other buddy read with Candy, War and Peace. I made significant progress in this. I think I read 150 pages in this book last week. I think I was on page 200, and now I'm on page 353. And I actually had to stop myself. I have not wanted to put it down, but I am trying to not get so far ahead because my buddy, her and her entire household fell sick, so she has not been reading very much for the last few days. And so I didn't want to get so far ahead, but I wanted to keep going, and I easily could have made it past page 400. And I probably will here in the next couple of days because only supposed to be reading about 15 pages a day, and yeah, I've been averaging a little bit more than that. So, loving it. This is a reread and another book from my 50 before 50 list. And I don't foresee myself having an issue getting through this before the end of summer, which is the intention. And yeah, it's just epic. I've been loving the war scenes, but I've been loving the peace scenes more than I did the first time that I read it. Alrighty. And then what else did I mean, I started this, but I haven't made much progress because I was reading Ride the Spiral. So, Ride the Spiral got me to not read Dungeon Crawler Carl. So, I am back to this. I made it through, there was like two prologues in this one, and I am only in chapter 1. So we'll continue this. You know, I love my Dungeon Crawler Carl, and yeah, book 6, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. We'll be continuing this week now that I have finished Ride the Spiral. And then, because I feel like with my current selections that I am actively working on, I needed something small, and I pulled out something that's been on my pile of possibilities for a long time, for the last like 3 or 4 months, and I pulled out The Warden. And I think the time has finally come. So I need something smaller for in between these massive books, because when you're reading this many chunkers, um, it can feel like you're not making progress for a while. So yeah, I need something small, and I have been dying to read this. So, The Warden by Anthony Trollope. I anticipate starting this one today. But yeah, what else? Oh yeah, the last thing for our booktube quest, our summer scavenger hunt, I did check off 2 prompts. I found, actually, it was Lauren and Ben from The Youngs and the Restless. I added a book to my TBR after watching one of their videos. I think it was their last wrap up. So I checked that one off. And then Jessica's video from On a Stack of Books. I definitely heard her husband interrupt her video. So a spouse interrupting your filming. I got that one checked off sooner than I thought I would. So I have 2 of those checked off, and it is very fun to go through and watch different people's videos to see what I can check off. So I will be continuing that. And yeah, that's what I've been up to this week and what my plans are going into the next week. But I thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. Let me know if you've read any of these, and I would be really interested to hear if you have read Ride the Spiral, because it did just come out. But yeah, let me know, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.